in my possession is this book. It's called the Satterthwaite Genealogy, and I've inherited it from my grandmother. It was published, again, I mean, I'll try and get a bit of a light on it. Published in 1910 in America, privately, by Amos Satterthwaite and his wife Elizabeth Satterthwaite. And my mother and my father were both descended from Michael and Esther Satterthwaite way back in the beginning of the 18th century. And what's come down the family, they're actually 6 cousins once removed. Both are now deceased. But this book, I have quite a low opinion of, because I don't think they did their research properly. And there are a lot of mistakes. And on page 12, it mentions Martha Satterthwaite, the third of Michael and Margaret. That's the third child of the previous generation, married Robert Jackson of Oxon Park near Ulverston. And then they list 9 children, one of whom is John Jackson, who is my great-great-great-grandfather. And the Martha Satterthwaite, who married Robert Jackson, in the book, there are no dates at all. There's no date of marriage, there are no dates of birth, and there are no dates of death. The book is completely unreferenced. So I thought, where on earth did they get this information? It's been handed down the family, and when my parents were engaged to one another, they were sort of, they went to stay with my father's aunt, who sort of summoned them. She was a very stern lady, and said, "You do know that you're related, don't you?" And their jaws both dropped. And my great aunt then picked up this book and pointed out the relationship and the other pages in the book that linked them together. So our own family's history has come, of Satterthwaite's, has come mainly from this book. And then I'm now fully paid up with Ancestry and with all its images of church registers and strange things, as well as all the Quaker stuff that's there. And I was completely astonished to come across 2 entries with images available, which showed that Robert Jackson approached a priest, and he got a marriage, requested that he might marry Martha, who was a minor. She was only 17, and it was a marriage by license rather than banns. And I think that had to be the case because she was so young. And so these 2 documents I found online, they gave the ages and effectively thereby the dates of birth of both of them, and then the date of marriage. So I was over the moon to find this. I've sort of filled in something that's been a blank for generations. I'm sorry I can't show it you all properly, but that's what I was planning to share this evening. I hope you find it interesting. But my question is, why did they both were Quakers, they both got married in a church, and then they both went back to being Quakers. So I suppose my next stage is to go and search out the monthly meeting minutes to see if there was some sort of disapproval made of them. But they both came back to to Quakers, and their descendants are all Quakers, or at
So
least most of them.
are you going to go through this book now and find out all the details that they've missed out and sort of effectively
Oh,
update it?
that would be a major work, because I'd have to research every entry in the book. It completely misses out that I mentioned John Jackson, the son of this coupling. It says he married Phoebe Lawton. That was true, but there's no mention of his second marriage, that she died and he married again, and had a daughter who was my ancestor. And I've always wondered why. I thought I had conflicting information that there were these two wives which didn't have the same name, but with nothing in the way of dates. I thought it was just a transcription error. I actually worked out a few years ago that he had two wives. So I've filled it all in the book by hand.